Content warning. Well, aren't you fun? Yeah, isn't this fun? I think it's fun. So, are you going to start the music like anytime? Oh, yeah, yeah, I'm totally going to start the music. Okay, well, start the music. Yeah, we could probably do that. All right. Well, how's it going, everybody out there? What is up? What is up? I am Solar Gray, the cinematic sorcerer, coming at you from the Wizard's Tower, and welcome to the dark side of the room. Now, this is the show where we talk about so many different things. We're going to be talking about life, games, and all of the things that, well, let's face it, the stuff that we do when we are not trying to make money. So, if you guys got any questions or comments or anything like that, feel free, and I mean that, feel absolutely free to leave comments right here in the chat because, hey, what is going on? And I got to say what's up to my people coming at us from the tubes of you. And if you guys got any questions or comments like that you want me to read on the show, maybe live and all that stuff, well, type in back in the deck at gmail.com. That's BACKINTHEDECK at gmail.com. You can also reach out to me on the social medias, Instagram, Twitter, or as we like to call them, our favorite X, blah, that wretched hive of scum and villainy. Facebook, just join the group Deckers on the Book, and of course, the Clock app, the one y'all call TikTok, the one that most of the people are on. And thank you so much, Xanathades. I swear I should just make you, I really should make you an administrator because you're totally doing the thing. That's right here, ladies and gentlemen, right here is the invitation to our Discord, and that's the one that doesn't have a paywall because I'm trying to build a community here and making sure that everybody can talk to each other, talk to all the people that we're talking about and all that stuff. So with that being said, let's start the show with that being said. So how you guys doing out there? It has been definitely a thing. And I will tell you, Happy New Year! What is going on, everybody? Hey, we've got the Knights of OG. What is going on? Knights of OG. And yeah, it is a new year. A lot of people have been saying, new year, new me, new year, new me. And I'm like, nope, this is the same old me. Hey. All right. Thank you so much, Knight of G. That is so awesome. Thank you for the subscription and the Happy New Year. That's a 6-month streak for you. And if you guys want to subscribe, well, you can do so the regular way, or you can use Jeff Bezos' money and use your Amazon Prime account. Everybody says, oh my God, it helps us out a lot. No, seriously, it's how we get paid here on Twitch. All right. So at least that's the main way that we get paid. Now we have a Patreon that you guys can find at patreon.com/BID_P. And I have been running it poorly. That's why I don't pitch it very much. But for those of you guys that are patrons, thank you so much for bearing with us and still having faith that we know what we are going to do and all of that stuff. So just head down to patreon.com/BID_P and subscribe there. Leave us a like and a subscribe on YouTube, and I will tell you why. Because it is a new year, and it being a new calendar year, I did everything I could when I set up this company to make the fiscal year match up with the calendar year so I don't have to keep that many books because I hate bookkeeping and there's so much to do. Oh my god, so much to do. So here's the thing. Last year was hard. I am so glad that 2023 is over. There has been so much going on. Grieving over my last relationship, still trying to get my house together, almost losing my house because it's been in foreclosure for the past few months. Running crowdfunding campaigns, working my butt off at the warehouse, even reducing how many days a week I've been streaming. We went from 5 to 3 and then like to every other day, and it got all weird. So now that I'm 1 month in front of all the stuff that we have to do, this is what we plan on doing. Like I said in the announcement, if you guys saw the announcement on the social media, we have a lot of things that we are going to talk about today. Most of that is going to be how I'm adding structure to this channel, to the company as a whole, and to the shows. So I have so many pages of notes and so many decades of show formats, talk show formats, how-to formats, instructional videos, just so much stuff because how can I put this? I was watching a video not long ago, and it was talking about how a particular movie uses some basic filmmaking techniques to really, really do something good. And it was kind of cool for me to watch because I wasn't really into the movie when it came out. And, but looking at it through this new lens, I'm like, oh, that's really cool. And it got me thinking, let's be real. This is 2024. We are squarely in the 21st century. If you're as old as I am, you can remember the 20th century like it was yesterday. And there's no denying it now, though. We are in the 20s. Woo! And hopefully they're not the roaring 20s like a century ago was, because that led to a depression, the likes of which we haven't seen for a while, right? But let's be real, all right? Everybody and their mother these days has a podcast, has a streaming channel, has a YouTube channel. People are trying to be influencers left, right, sideways, all that stuff. And it's really easy. Hey, Neon. Hey, Neon. It's good to see you again, my friend. Merry New Year. Bubule, bubule, bubule. Ha. Anyway, so with that being said, there's all these 20th century ideas that people are pushing out there. How do you make yourself distinguishable? Why should I waste my time on you? Why should people watch you in opposed to watching other people? And the fact is, I've never been like that. That's all 1980s corporate competition thinking. And as easy as it is to make someone rich with that thinking, I can't live like that. I really can't. So guess what? I suggest loads of other people to watch because I'm not competing with anybody. I'm here sharing with you guys the stuff I love and why I love it, and trying to help you guys work out loving it in the ways that you do, and hopefully sharing some of that with people that are like you or like me or like all that stuff, right? So there's this like ideological thing, this thing. So what we are going to do is we're going to talk about what I'm doing with this channel, what I'm doing with the YouTube channel, and why. I'm also going to tell you guys about the new merch that I've been putting together, and how I can move forward to make sure that I don't fall into the same financial straits that I did last year, because I want to keep doing this. I love spending time with you guys. I love meeting you, and I believe it was 2022 that I put on a mini convention. And I want to do that again this year. And that is something that I really want to, put together and talk to you guys about. So we're going to do all that. But first, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We don't have sponsors, but I got to run ads in order to maximize the amount of money that I can get from Twitch so that I can do this more days a week. So we will be back in a minute. In the meantime, send me an email with a question that you guys want me to read over the channel, and yeah, we will get to those, but we'll be back in just a minute. Hey G-Ren, how you doing? I hope you're subscribed. Yeah, I do hope that you're subscribed. It doesn't look like you are, so you're stuck with the commercial, but we'll be back in a minute. While we're here and on a commercial break, I want to give a super special thanks to Neon Arlecchino and Xanathades. You guys have been my rocks in this over the past year. Am I taking sponsorships? Here's the thing, Knights of G. I'm not, my YouTube channel or my Twitch channel is not big enough to accept sponsorships. And by that, I mean, no sponsorships are being offered. But every Twitch channel has a little button that lets us run commercials, and we get a little piece of that. But honestly, sponsorship deals like even Raid Shadow Legends, it doesn't reach out to people or accept inquiries until the YouTube channels can be monetized, and the YouTube algorithm as it stands the last time I checked requires 1,000 subscribers and like 50,000 watch hours or something like that. And my YouTube format is not great. And that's one of the things that we'll be working on. But looks like we're back from commercial break. Okay, I got the coffee. I got the smokes. So let's talk about this stuff. As you guys know, I love talking about gaming. I love, because I'm a great big nerd. I want to talk more about comic books. I want to talk more about board games. I want to show some more playthroughs. I want to do some battle reports. I want to feature lots of games. Those are my desires. Unfortunately, this is me pulling back the curtains on a lot of things, all right? Most of the channels that you guys really like have two major formats. And one, like the legend himself, Hassan, is just him hanging out, chilling for 8 hours, and you guys kind of search the web with him. And he uses his vast education and his opinions to interact with people. And that's awesome. I really do like that. But most other YouTubers and Twitchers and streamers and all that stuff, they have the quick punchy format to capitalize on short attention spans, and they have crews of editors, crews of camera people, and all that stuff. And all of those people are paid. They're paid with the AdSense money, the Patreon money, like their actual business. What's going on, Daryl? Since I don't have any of that stuff, I have to keep what I want to do with the channel. I don't want to say realistic because I hate that term. I have to keep everything with the channel manageable for one person to do. Okay, one person. And that person is me. Eventually my kid offered to do editing, but they have to upgrade their gear, and I don't have the money to buy them a new Alienware and stuff like that. I've been looking into like AI editing and things like that, but that takes a lot of subscriptions to a lot of services, and they add up. I'm looking at like maybe 120, 130 bucks a month for all the software that I need to edit, between the stuff that'll allow me to post to each social media thing but only upload it once. It's a lot. So what are we going to do? Okay. Instead of what I want to do, what is the schedule going to be? Well, I'm sure you guys noticed that today is Tuesday. And today is Tuesday because yesterday was a holiday and I was really recovering from New Year's Eve. Actually, I was recovering from the entire second half of December, and I'm still not doing that great. If you guys saw my last transmission, you guys noticed I was a little low energy. Okay? And I want to give you guys like the best show that I can give you. So I am really working on that whole thing. So here's the thing. I made a list of the stuff that I can talk about and the stuff that I can write a 2-hour show for a minimum of 3 days a week. All right. I want to keep the Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule with occasional Tuesdays and Thursdays when I'm not working at the warehouse as special episodes. But I also need to take time to edit a lot of videos so that I can put them up on YouTube as standard YouTube videos. So, how are we going to do this? Well, Mondays will still be the dark side of the room. That is a huge thing. I like it here. I like being on the dark side of the room. And why do I want to keep it that way? Because it's a cool name and nobody else has it. But I do have a couple of complications that I want to put forth with you guys, okay? There seems to be this idea that you can't go forward in streaming and YouTube by having a variety channel. What does that mean? That means with what we cover here on Back in the Deck, I should have a 40K channel, a D&D channel, a Dead Zone channel, a Pathfinder channel, a Fate channel, a painting channel, a one-page rules channel, a comic book channel, a movie review channel. Okay, we're looking at 9 different channels. And that's a lot of emails to juggle. All right? But the thing is, I trust. Seriously, Daryl, a lot of people say that. Some of my favorite YouTubers have 2 or 3 channels, like Discourse. She's amazing, but she has 1 channel for D&D and 1 channel for 40K. And, you know, that's on top of other channels needing their own website for other stuff, and then the Patreon. It seems like society is really kind of making it to where anything you do for money has got to be a serious grind, like you're working in a cubicle for a corporation. And that's not really how I want to live my life. So what I'm really working on doing is making Back in the Deck Productions like a real production company. I want us to do various shows at various times of the week so that our subscribers and our viewers get a little bit of something all over the place, you know? See, here's the thing, guys. I grew up with television, and we live in an age of streaming, okay? And the fact of the matter is, whatever streaming channel that you mainly go to, there might be that one show that you really like, you know? For the longest time, it was HBO Max for Game of Thrones. But that didn't mean that you didn't watch anything else that was on that streaming channel. You see what I mean? A lot of people hooked themselves up with Netflix for Stranger Things, but that didn't mean they didn't watch Squid Game and Tiger King and the other stuff that they had out there, you know? Yeah, we have finite time and almost infinite choice. And I get that. But simultaneously, I've never liked the idea of being pigeonholed, okay? Now, I am opening a second YouTube channel, and on that one, I'll be teaching how to play bass. And that one, I plan on having it launch this week. And I managed to have a student, and I'm editing those videos as well. But when it comes down to it, this is the channel that I love the most, Okay, this is where I hang out with you guys and we talk about the stuff that we actually spend our money on when we're not working. We pay our bills, our mortgage, our rent, our water bills, our gas bill, and all that other stuff. Excuse me. But then this is the stuff that we do instead of playing video games for 9 hours a day, instead of going to every movie that there is out there, instead of vegging out over the TV. And I was always wondering what my niche would be if I tried to do that. Like, I really love Tabletop Minions. I love Uncle Adam. And I love how he focuses on miniatures games and he doesn't stick to just one. Now, you guys know, if you're not new to the channel, my favorite company is One Page Rules. I love those guys. I love those guys specifically because their entire praxis is based on playing a game. You guys know I don't like Games Workshop because their message is clear but dishonest. Okay, their message is buy our stuff. And, a lot of people want to play the game, a lot of people have been burned and stuff like that. But as you guys also know, I'm Generation X. And one of the big things about Generation X and geriatric millennials, okay, those are those that would be my younger siblings, is there's a lot of negativity. Most of the stuff that you find online is why this sucks, what's wrong with this, how this is stupid, how you're wrong. And as a 46-year-old man, I've had a lifetime of looking at what that does to people. Okay. It raises anger. It kills the idea of satisfaction, and it mythologizes happiness by raising standards to an unbearable amount of perfectionism. And I don't like that. Not only don't I like that, but that's not the type of world that I want to live in. And that's not the type of culture that I want to participate in. Now, there's a lot of things I don't like. Don't get me wrong. But I don't like leading with stuff that I don't like. Okay? I don't like leading with the negative. I don't like using negative titles as clickbait. I'm still trying to learn thumbnails, but that kind of art I've never actually been good at. Okay? So what we're doing here at Back in the Deck is we are going to stay positive. We're going to talk about stuff that we like and why we love it and why you would love it too. And how, even though we've had bad experiences with people, with games, with cultures, how we still have the opportunity to do good stuff and to like a lot of things, because that's what I'm here for. I like things, And what do I mean? Well, like I said, I'm Generation X. And a lot of my friends like stuff, but in interacting with them, they only talk about what's wrong with it, how the game isn't perfect, or how they can see improvements in a gaming system, or how they're mad at a game that burned them in the past, and how they're trying to shoehorn the game that they wanted 20 years ago into every system that they play, instead of enjoying what they have for what it is. Okay? Now, if you guys are new to the channel, I want you guys to understand, I grew up poor, not dirt poor. Okay? I had TV. I had a lemonade stand, but I grew up in the hood in the middle of the gang wars. And one of the things that entailed was I didn't have access to a plethora of things. I had to fight really hard to even learn how to play Dungeons and Dragons, because there was nowhere within 10 miles of my house that sold books that I knew about. And the places that I did know about that may have sold books, pretty much sold everything religious. It was like the Bible all the time. And yeah, that really wasn't what I was into or how I wanted to spend my youth. Okay. Um, but with that, I realized that I didn't grow up with a plethora of choice. Okay. I didn't grow up with disposable hobbies, disposable friends, and disposable entertainment. So I spent a lot of time learning to like what I was able to get. And as an adult, I have found that that has been really instrumental. I mean, truly instrumental in me not being miserable in my adulthood because my mind isn't immediately set to why what I'm doing is terrible. Okay? And when I say immediately set, I mean locked into that idea. And that's the thing that I want to share with you guys. We got a comment here from Neon Arlecchino. I just need to capitalize on the education I have, the mini gamer who will explore society and help with physics homework. You know, that is what I want to do. Okay, that is what we are here for. Except I'm not going to help people with their physics homework because if I wanted to be a teacher, I would, and I hate administration. So, so how are we going to do this? Well, the following will be our schedule, okay? Our schedule will consist of a 3-day-a-week schedule that I will seriously get to right after these commercials, okay? Yeah, you see what I did there? Yeah, got to do another commercial break, but it's a thing. Oh, man. So, yeah, and Daryl, I'm glad that you're here. I really am, because I know you're watching from something else. I mean, if one, we got Knights of G going, I mean, if one reached out, I'm guessing you mean with, I'm guessing you mean if a person reached out to me asking for help with their homework, would I say no? Of course I wouldn't. My heart is way too big for that. And yeah, it's one of those things. I am a softie. I'm a big pushover. And I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all. Oh, man. But yeah. So this is the stuff that we're going to be working on to go forward in the future, okay? And these are how I'm going to break down our Monday and Wednesday and Friday shows, and you'll know now. And look at us, we are back. What's up for that? What's up, you guys? Yeah, so I left you guys on a cliffhanger before the commercial, so let me put this out there. All right, our schedule for the upcoming future will be, our main days will still be at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Okay, Mondays will be the dark side of the room. This will be the show where we talk about life and games. I'm going to give you guys updates on what I played over the weekend and some of the stuff that I'd like to do in the future, okay? Because honestly, Dark Side of the Room is this is essentially me hanging out with you guys, and I really like that. And what better way to start off your week by having a pretty long hangout and conversation with a friend, all right? At least that's how I'd like to do it. Wednesdays are going to be the dark side of the hobby hall. What is that? Well, that is going to be our show where we craft. That's where I'll be making terrain and painting miniatures, and that's essentially going to be the instructional show where I hang out with you guys like we're having a painting party. And the reason for that is I need to release more painting videos circa Black Magic Craft and Obscurities and Miniatures. And I figure since I do record every show, I can record those videos and then cut them down to about 20 minutes, do a new voiceover, and upload those on the YouTube channel every week. So that is that particular thing. So that's going to be our crafting show and stuff like that. And Friday, Friday, payday. All right. And that is going to be the dark side of the game gallery. Yes, the dark side of the game gallery. And on the dark side of the game gallery, we are going to focus on um, two games every week. Okay. Now, those two games will either be an RPG and a minis game and a board game, or something of the like. But you know what? It's payday, and let's face it, we might want to go pick up a game this weekend, you know? I got a really good chance to meet some people over the past week where I met another vet who's into Age of Sigmar, and we got to talking about the hobby from the hobbying aspect, because he needed some tips on fixing a mini before throwing it away. And I'm like, dude, there's like 4 or 5 different ways to do it. And it felt good. I felt back to myself again. But our Monday show is going to be talking about a lot of this stuff and the emotional and psychological benefits of the stuff that we do and why it's so awesome. All right. Now, I'm sure you noticed when I said we're going to talk about games, what are the things that we're not going to talk about on those games? Well, it's simple. I am not going to show you guys how to win games, okay? That's not what I'm here for. I'm not a competitive player. I'm not going to go to the Las Vegas Open for 40K and bring home a trophy. I do play some PvP D&D, but I've yet to win, so you know. So I'm not the guy that'll teach you how to optimize your character and stuff like that. But we will be talking about theories of games. What are these types of games? Why are they fun? We're going to really delve into lore on essentially all the games that I play. And I have a list of games that I play, all right? I'm just going to list some of the minis games that I play that we are going to be delving into the lore for. From One Page Rules, we're going to delve into the lore on Grimdark Future, Age of Fantasy. We're going to talk about some 40K lore, the lore on Carnivale, the lore on Gaslands. Since I play Marvel Crisis Protocol and the DC Miniatures games, we're going to talk about comics on those games. We're going to talk about the lore of Stargrave and Gaslands and the plethora of other games that I play, from D&D to the games I play on the Fate system, like the Dresden Files and Atomic Robo, and Kids on Bikes and Morgborg, you know, all that stuff. We are talking a lot of lore, and those are going to be the Friday days where we're going to do some major focusing on each game. And keep in mind, this show is 2 hours long. So yeah, and let's face it, 40K alone has entire channels dedicated to the lore of the 500 or 600 books, you know. And when it comes to the dark side of the room, we're still going to be talking about game theory, and I don't mean like the CIA game theory. I'm talking about how games are put together. And, you know, this is where you're going to find a good amount of my GM advice, how to run games, what types of player archetypes there are, how to make people, or how to facilitate people coming together and having a good time, and some of the pitfalls that might come with those sorts of things. And that's going to be Monday. So we're talking a lot of stuff here. Okay, we're seriously talking a lot of different stuff. Okay, we've got so many things that are on the dark. Yeah, exactly, Neon. 500 to 600 books, thousands of magazines, hundreds of comics. Let's not talk about the video games and the codexes as well. So there's a lot of lore with 40K that, you know, subsequently puts out a lot of channels. And we're also going to talk about some channels that are maybe a little bigger than me, maybe a little smaller, that could definitely use some support. Like today, Um, I'm gonna suggest a YouTube channel called Why I Like, and it's a 40K channel, but unlike a lot of 40K channels out there, it's one guy. His video quality is not great. His sound quality is not great. And you know what? I'm with that. Okay? I'm really, really with that. Because let's be real. Most of YouTube is absolutely free. And you guys are going to come at me for this. I know you guys are going to come at me for this. But I don't think it's very fair demanding that the people that you watch on YouTube for free and the people that you watch on Twitch for free have professional quality production. And I'm talking about with cameras, lighting, sound, editing, subject matter. Like, that's a lot to ask for free. And that mindset that a lot of people have, and I get it, a lot of people are mad at standard entertainment. We got to pay $25 for a movie ticket for movies that don't wow us. I get that. But there's also something out there that I call DMV theory or nurse theory, okay? And that is, people get mad at the DMV or they get mad at their insurance company and they yell at the nurse or they yell at the guy behind the counter who is just as powerless to change the thing that you're mad at as you are, and I'm a little bit tired of powerless people beating up other powerless people because they're mad at the powerful. So, the whole idea of demanding that free content look just as good as what you get on Netflix, I don't think that's very fair, especially when the best support that you can give them on that level is a subscribe. That's it. Just to subscribe and leave a comment. You don't even have to hit the notification bell so that you're informed every time they post a video. Just to subscribe and something like, "Hey, thanks for saying what you said," whether or not you agree with it. That goes so far to helping little independent people like me who work by ourselves and still have to have day jobs, and in my case most of them are manual labor, to not have to do that and to eventually buy the software and the hardware to put out the same type of content or the same quality content as Matthew Patrick or Hassan or Leisha Miller or Legal Eagle. I mean, those guys have entire production teams. So, and this isn't just me talking on my case, but I'm talking for all the small creators that are out there. And the one I'm featuring today is a small channel I discovered a few days ago, or a couple of weeks ago. Let me see if I can find him. Yeah, he's called Why I Like and Why I Love. And I'm like, dude, this guy is great. If I can find his video. Oh wait, I know which profile to pull up there. And all of his videos are just him sitting in his room, and he goes through the Warhammer 40K thing, faction by faction, team by team, and just says why he likes them. And I really love that. Because it's a dude that likes something that's telling us why he likes it himself. I really do dig that. Let's see, why I like 40K. That's the search we're gonna do. Nope, that's not that guy. That guy's a big yeah. Hang on here. Oh, wait a minute. Let me check my history. I should have pulled this up, but it just hit me. So, search watch history. Why I love? Is it why I love? Yeah, let's take a look at that. There we go. Yeah, the channel is called Why I Love. And yeah, seriously speaking, oh, he's getting up there, which is cool. Not gonna lie, he's a bit bigger than I am. And by a bit, I mean 5 times bigger than I am. But this is the dude. These are his videos. And, you know, his painting isn't award winning, but he loves this stuff. And it's why I love Warhammer. That's it. Guy's got 1,000 subscribers. And what does that mean? That means his channel just got qualified to be monetized. So now he can start to make a little extra money on his Warhammer channel. So yeah, that's seriously, you know, that's the kind of thing that I want us to be doing here. You know, I mean, quite seriously. I love that kind of thing. You know, just people like you and me talking about why we love stuff and geeking out over comics and games and lore and how that's okay. You know, that's what I want us to be here for. Okay? Not my stuff is better than yours and I'll tell you why. Not you're wrong about this and I'll tell you why. There's way too many of those channels out there. And quite honestly, I can say this as an older man. Okay? As an older man, I've seen some stuff. And I can tell you, if you look hard enough, you can find 1,000 reasons why everything sucks all the time. The world is always in peril. The economy is always crap if you live in the UK, the US, or Canada. Most people are always broke because jobs don't pay you enough to be happy. They pay you just enough to come back. Okay, that's why it's called a JOB, a just over broke. That's what they do. But it's easy to get swallowed up in all that stuff, y'all. Really easy to get swallowed up in all that stuff. But you know what? There's loads of stuff in the world to like. There's loads of things out there to enjoy and that can make us smile. And I'll tell you, since I live in Los Angeles, yeah, I'm making fun of where I live because I love LA. I really do. I've always loved LA. But it is in the top 5 most snobbish places I have ever seen in my entire life, regardless of where I go in the world. Like, this is one of the only places that people look down on you for liking things for different reasons than they like it. You know, and I'm like, you know what? Shut up. We have this thing in common. Oh, no. Well, if you play 40K, you've got to understand that Rogue Traitor was the better part of... I'm like, stop freaking glorifying the past. 10th edition is fine. Necromunda was fun. You know what? 9th edition was fine. With D&D 3.5 was fine. And though I didn't enjoy 4th edition, it was a game that a lot of people liked, that got a lot of people into playing D&D, and 5th edition did an even better thing than that. Guess what? It's all good. All right? And I want to come from a place, not of anger, but of gratitude and appreciation. You feel me? Because again, it's real easy to look at everything and say that how stuff can suck. All right. This weekend I got to spend a little time with Decker Bloodclaw. You guys might recognize them from the comments. And he's been putting together his Tau army. And guess what, guys? His Tau army has been great. Okay. I helped him out with some 3D printed parts. And quite honestly, I hear loads and loads of people make fun of Tau. Okay, well, guess what? They don't have to play them. You know, people don't have to play the factions they don't like. Um, when I talked to the dude I met yesterday, I told him flat out, look, I've only played 2 games of Warhammer 40K. Um, but right now I have, like 5 armies, 5 complete 2,000 point teams. I do. I have 5 2,000 point teams. Why? Because I have a 3D printer farm. Okay. So, I showed him pictures of my stuff and he's like, dude, I see now why these companies are afraid. I'm like, only if they want to keep their monopoly. But yeah, and I told him, I wanted to play Custodes, but no one wanted to play against Custodes. Then I picked the Thousand Sons, but nobody wanted to play against the Thousand Sons, and that's a lot of bookkeeping. I have the Ultramarines, and people keep making fun of Smurfs, but I genuinely like Gilliman, and I have no shame in that. I have a Necron army because the lore that they have in their books is so fun and amusing to me. Although they have one of the most tragic stories, after reading The Infinite and the Divine, I'm like, oh my god, I love these guys. And I have an Orc army because why not? I don't have Eldar because I've never been a big fan of elves in fantasy or sci-fi, except Vulcans. Okay, that's about it. Just that, those are the only space elves I got. But yeah, so I don't have, Drew Carey because I like his stuff. But do orcs breathe? Sometimes, that's a good question. I think orcs do breathe sometimes. I know they grow when they kick puppies. So yeah, which makes them bad guys, which is sad because no one should be kicking puppies. Like period. Like if you really want to win a soccer game, just take a Sharpie and write the word puppy on the ball, and that's it. But yeah. And he's like, "What, are you made out of money?" I'm like, "No, I have a 3D printer farm." And for the fantasy armies I only got 1 or 2. I do like the dinosaurs because I was a little boy at one point in my life. And the idea of dinosaurs, riding dinosaurs, that's pretty cool to me. So yeah, I've got that stuff. But the thing is, when I was talking to him and he started to come at me with the I just replied with my enthusiasm for all of it, and that's the place that I want us to come from, and that's the stuff that I want to show you. The stuff that you like is the stuff that you like, guys. In my painting videos, I'm making it really clear, okay? Really clear. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being Golden Demon, 5 being mostly everything that you see from Dana Howell, Play on Tabletop, and most of Instagram. Yeah, we're only going to a 3. Real talk, we're only going to a 3. Because the premise of everything that we're going to be doing here at Back in the Deck is straight up enjoyment. And if you don't like it, you don't got to do it. I know that was a quote from The Infinite and the Divine. Like, do they breathe? I don't know. Why are they out there? I really like the fact that, hey, guess what? They'll ride a meteor to a planet and call the meteor hitting the planet a big punch of the planet. So, hey, you know what? I'm with that. But yeah, because quite honestly, guys, I've said it a lot and I don't go into a lot of detail, but I've seen some terrible things over the course of my life. Okay? Terrible things. Like I said, I grew up during the crack epidemic of the 1980s. Watch Boys in the Hood, Colors, New Jack City, And you're looking at a good amount of my childhood. Um, so if I want that dark stuff, all I got to do is remember a good amount of my childhood. But my childhood was also involving riding bikes, climbing trees, laughing with friends, having a lemonade stand, building go-karts, all right? And perspective is a huge thing. You know, what do we choose to focus on? You know, if you guys are watching this channel, chances are you've gone through it too. In whatever way that you have seriously gone through some stuff, man, number one, I want to say congratulations to you. Seriously. Because you have officially survived 100% of the worst days that you've ever had. I think that's miraculous, you know? And right now, the world doesn't look all that great. But guess what? It can also look pretty cool as well. Okay? I mean, we're sitting here on the internet. I'm talking to you guys. Boom. Yeah, Dylan. What's going on, man? Dylan Soto. LA is changing rapidly. Bro, I live on the south side. I'm watching it in real time, you know? And a lot of those changes are for the better. A lot of those changes are the worst. I still am shaking my fist at $70 parking at Exposition Park just to go to the freaking museum when there's a concert. You know what I'm talking about? But yeah, and don't get me started on the Staples Center. Oh my God. But the fact of the matter is that there's so much good in the world. There's so many good people. And yeah, we've gone through some stuff. And guess what? We here at Back in the Deck have two things to say about that. You and what you've gone through matter. It matters. But guess what? The second thing we got to say is let's have some fun, even though that stuff is weighing on us. You know, let's play some games. Let's talk about some comic books. Let's love the fact that we got cartoons. All right. One thing, and help me out with this, Neon Arlecchino, because you're one of the oldest deckers that have been watching this show. I do not use the term ruined my childhood. You know, that's not the whole thing. I don't look at the past as a sacred allegory. And I'm going to help you guys not look at that either. You know, to this day, there's so much good stuff out there. And a lot of the stuff wasn't specifically meant for you. You know, it really wasn't. And guess what? Nothing is made for everybody. You know, the world is constantly changing. I promise. Like, guys, I'm 46 years old. Okay. I know a lot of people look at me and they're like, no, you can't be 40. No, really. I'm 46 years old. Okay. I'll be 47 this year. And what I can say is that since the 1970s, when I first started getting my memories in 79 to currently, there have been so many changes. So many changes. You know, I played outside. I had Saturday morning cartoons. There were cartoons on when I got home from school. I was there when the VCR became a major thing. I saw the invention of compact discs. I was there when MP3s first came out. I saw the launch of freaking streaming services, and I was laughing a lot during the beginning of the MP3 trading things where Napster got taken down. You know, there have been so many changes over the course of my life. Heck, a lot of those changes have happened just in the past 20 years. And it goes by quick. It goes by really quick. I mean, real talk, I've seen, 4 editions of D&D in my lifetime? You know, because I started at 2nd edition, then 3rd, then 3.5, then 4th, and now 5th edition. Then 5th edition, and now D&D 1, or as I call it, D and Done. All of those things have changed. It's impossible to become vapor locked. And it gets faster and faster every year. And quite honestly, I think it's a good thing. I think it's a really good thing. As far as scandals and um um business practices and stuff like that, the most I'll do with you guys is tell you guys why I don't like something, but I'm not going to come down on you for what you like. Um we don't do that here. We really don't. Unless the thing that you like is something that oppresses someone else, especially if that someone else is part of a group that's been oppressed. And our definition of oppressed is really simple. If there has been a Supreme Court case about the fact that you exist, then you're part of that sector. I'm sorry. Okay? That really is, if laws have had to be passed in order to allow you to live normally, then yeah, you're from that sector. That's just how it goes. And that's as political as we get here. Okay? That literally is. So oh god, let's see. Oh, hey, what's going on? 250. What was that? 250 Mike C? Yeah. Language though. But yeah. Merry New Year, my friend. So for those of you guys watching on Twitch, we're gonna go to commercial real quick and we'll come back with the next part of the show. All right. And let's comment on some of this stuff. So over here, yeah, Dylan Soto, seriously, LA is changing. It's changing so fast. And I love it. I really do. Back in the 80s, like, I'm actually older than the subway system of Los Angeles. Okay, I was there when it launched. And when it launched, oh, don't worry about it. You're new to the channel. And, I try and keep this stuff relatively child friendly because I want families to watch. But yeah, seriously, happy, what is that? Happy New Beers to you, seriously. But yeah, I've seen the changes. When the subway first launched, it was all just the blue line. And it was from downtown LA to Long Beach. And I rode every inch of that freaking thing. And yeah, it's okay. We're talking about a lot and our show is 2 hours long. So there you go. But seriously guys. Oh, we're coming back from break now. All right. So welcome back, Twitch guys. So yeah, so that's the kind of stuff we're going to be talking about on the dark side of the room. We're going to be talking about life and games and how it's really cool to enjoy things and how to find ways to enjoy stuff, along with stuff like player archetypes, how to be better GMs, how to navigate the kinds of GMs that we might have. But the tough one, all right? The dark side of the hobby hall. Wednesdays are going to be really hard for me, y'all. And here's the reason. I live by myself and I get bored a lot. Okay. When I'm not working, I need something to blow off steam. And that's when I tend to paint miniatures. But because of my neurospice, I fall into those holes where I'm like, I think I'm just going to paint this space guy. Next thing I know, I'm painting a 20-man unit. Okay. And when I do that, I don't tend to film it. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be relaxing, and I'll have the minis that I paint for me and then the ones that I do on the show. But the mini painting show, I'm calling it Dark Side of the Hobby Hall, but the YouTube name is going to be Happy With It because I want you guys to start painting if you want to start painting, but only until you're happy with it, okay? And not push yourself to be these phenomenal artists because you think that's what you're supposed to do. If that's what you want to do, then look at my stuff as like 1st through 3rd grade, okay? But if you just want to get your stuff painted and on the table and you'll be happy with that, then come on down. That's going to be the YouTube show Happy With It. And that's where we're going to be talking about stuff and pretty much just doing the paint and hangs on Wednesday. But what's difficult for me is that I have to find a bunch of minis that I want to paint on the channel. Excuse me. That I can do in the course of 2 hours, and that'll be interesting to watch as YouTube shows. That means a large variety of minis. We're talking stuff from One Page Rules, Carnivale, 40K, loads of proxies, and I'll be painting stuff even for armies that I don't plan on playing. And what I'll probably do is, with the stuff that I don't intend on using for myself, I might put them up as prizes on Patreon for quizzes and stuff like that. I'm not quite sure how I'm working that out. But yeah, and that's going to be a lot. We're going to do, yeah, exactly, Knights of G. Just want to learn. Just want to learn. You know, my friendly local game store and I kind of have a debate going where they say that speed paints, specifically armor painter speed paints or army painter speed paints, and what are they called? Contrast paints from Games Workshop are terrible places to start painting. I disagree. Yeah. Sweet. Yeah, cool resin guys from a Kickstarter. That's what I'm talking about. Right there. Right there, 250 Mike. Cause real talk, what we are about here at Back in the Deck is not just playing, but focusing on the parts of what we do for hobbies that actually make us happy. I don't mean content. I mean the stuff that brings us joy. And what's the reason for that? Well, let's talk about it. I find that a lot of the people that I've known over the years, okay? Hey, shout out the store. Thank you. Yeah, I'm talking Guildhouse Games in Bellflower, California. They are the #1 store that's a friend to Back in the Deck, along with Guildhouse Games and I believe it's Anaheim. I'm rusty about that part of Orange County. We have friendly relations with pretty much all the stores in Southern California, and I will be recommending the stores in LA and Orange County for those of you guys that are local. And as we expand and I get more money to travel, I'll be doing interviews and features and all that stuff with the stores all around the country, like Tribe Comics in Austin, Texas, and I forgot the name of the store in Henderson, Nevada. But yeah, I mean, I'm serious about this, guys. I really am. But yeah, there is, a debate that's going on with, yeah, seriously, rest in peace, Beard Bros. There is a debate going on with myself and the staff of Guildhouse Games, where they don't believe that starting off painting with speed paints or contrast paints is a good place to start painting. And my whole praxis, okay, my entire praxis for everything that I do is it all depends on where you are and where you want to go with your hobby. Okay, it's really that simple. If you want to run games as compelling as, say, Critical Role, there are ways to do that. Most of it is go to college, take a bunch of creative writing courses, and then sell yourself as a writer for 10, 12, 14 years. That is what all of the people in Critical Role did. Okay? Thank you. But here we focus on the fundamentals of skills and the fundamentals of gameplay. And this is stuff I've been teaching for decades, okay? And like I said, guys, I'm 46 years old, and the decades go by so fast, okay? So yeah, like I said on our Monday show, Dark Side of the Room, that's the stuff we're going to be focusing on. Um, like with our role playing segments, we're going to be talking about coming up with plots, learning how not to railroad players, um, learning to talk to GMs that have a habit of railroading players and may not know it. Um, there's loads of stuff to talk about. But what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to make 7 to 8 different YouTube channels to focus on each one. All right. Um, Again, I'm all about having fun. And what I was saying a bit earlier, I know a lot of people who focus on the hobby because, let's be real, they bought into Warhammer 40K. It didn't work out the way that they'd hoped, but they've already fallen for the sunken cost fallacy, meaning they've poured all the money into it and they can never play and they can't really talk to people about it. But it's hard to play games like that because it's based on a meta that's ever changing every 3 months, making it so that you have to spend more and more money in order to keep up with whatever people are playing with, so that you don't show up and get your butt kicked at every single game and not understand why, because there's so much power creep that you end up getting left behind, especially if you end up having a family, if you have a husband and kids and a 540, or let's be real, okay, a 545 these days, because you still have to be at work for lunch but you don't get paid for it. And so people kind of settle into just the hobbying aspect, the making of the minis and all that stuff. But what I've seen is I've seen people do that because they've now settled on it and not really going into it. So we're going to talk about how to do the hobby stuff, how to continue to play different games and different game modes, because real talk, I love playing. I really do. I calm down by painting, but I'm not a big fan of hobbying. I didn't grow up making model cars or train sets and stuff. There was nowhere to really get those things when I was growing up. And when I first got into miniatures games, I'm like, wait a second. I have to put together and paint these toys? Like, these things cost 3 times as much as a toy from the swap meet and twice as much as a toy from Toys R Us when I can get to one, but I gotta finish putting it together and painting. This is not cool. That's kind of how I looked at it. And I don't have that eye for detail. In fact, I'm sitting in front of you guys today and I need new glasses. So, serious talk. I'm all about the painting and the rolling the dice and the pew pew. Not about being the very best like no one ever was. Not about winning the tournaments, and not about, I don't get into the conversations of my Primarch is better than your Primarch, but I do get into the conversations of your Primarch is cool, my Primarch is cool, boy, are these Primarchs cool. Let's see which ones are coming back next. That would be awesome. Yeah. A lot of you guys are looking at me right now and you're going, wow, this guy's a total Pollyanna. Yeah, I am. I'm totally a Pollyanna. I'm totally an optimist, because my day job, if you're new to the channel, is lifting 800 to 2,000 boxes and putting them on pallets and then doing laps around them to wrap those pallets in plastic and then to put them on other trucks. Okay? It is not intellectually stimulating. And it is like being at the gym for 6 to 8 hours at a time. In other words, it kind of sucks, And then I have to drive LA traffic home. Okay? LA traffic home. When I say LA traffic, I mean the LA traffic where going 6 miles can take up to an hour. That is not an exaggeration in the slightest. So like I said, I've got lots of reasons why things can suck. But instead of talking about how all that stuff sucks, I want to talk about how, yes, Conrad Kurz is a jerk and he is so funny about it. I want to talk about how um how Dritz is the quintessential dude. I didn't know that, Knights of G. You're on the other side of what I did. Yeah, I mean, real talk, most jobs suck. Most careers are difficult, but most jobs are terrible. Again, just over broke. But instead of focusing on that stuff, I want to sit here and talk with you guys about things that we love, the things that we collectively love. Our comic books, our Star Warses, our Doctor Who'ses, our 40Ks, our Dresden Fileses, I mean, that's the stuff that's here, especially since I live in a place where no one wants to make the drive to come see me. You guys are the ones that I can hang out with on a regular basis, and in order to show that I appreciate you guys, I want to share the stuff about what we do that I appreciate and hear the stuff that you appreciate. But I'm not going to platform the way that things can suck. Not all the time. Again, lifting boxes, 50-pound boxes, 2,000 of them in a day. Okay? 2,000 reps of 50. No. Again, I'm 45 years old, and that would suck if I were 20 years younger. Sorry, 46 years old. There we go. Yeah, I drink a lot of coffee. Y'all know that. So yeah, with all that stuff, that's where I want to put this out there. Now, at 4:30 or half past the current hour, regardless of where you guys are watching, I'm going to open this stuff up to an AMA. All right. So I want you guys to think of your questions. Send me an email at backinthedeck@gmail.com. That's BACKINTHEDECK@gmail.com. And I'll read your questions and you guys can ask me stuff about, pretty much anything. All right. And you guys can ask me anything. Try and keep the questions PG. But yeah, you can ask me questions about what stuff I like. You can also ask me questions on the Discord server. All right. And I'm putting an invitation to there now, thanks to Xanathades. Hold up. This is no, not no. Yeah, I'm putting this up there now. Okay, yeah, we're gonna do that. And now we're gonna put that in there. And now, yeah, and push the button. Yeah. There we go. Yeah, so I'm putting the Discord invitation up there so that you guys can join the Discord. Yeah, so that you guys can join the Discord, send me a question, because I've got the Discord pulled up over here. And 1977. Well, thank you, Glenn. Denzel Washington was not born in 1977. He was born in 1953. Oh, that was Denzel in 77. Cool. Let's see here. So yeah, that but all this stuff is real stuff I want to put up there. And yeah, seriously, this is where the channel's going to go. Now for Tuesdays and Thursdays, when I can get a co-host in, I'll have a co-host in and we can just chill and talk, and we can talk about various games or game modes or what the co-hosts are doing and stuff like that. Oh my God, my coffee. Love my coffee. And on Tuesdays, Tuesday is kind of going to be a miscellaneous day. Now, once we get a decent amount of subscribers, like I'll hit the next achievement level. I'll hit the next achievement level here on Twitch when we average 75 watchers per stream. I can't even imagine those numbers, but if you guys want to share, bring people in and all that stuff, I'm not going to stop you. So yeah, that's one of the big things. We have a question coming up. Cool. We got another 15 minutes to start before I start answering questions. So that's a big thing. All right. So just to make sure I can get a good YouTube clip, like I said, we have a lot of stuff that I can talk about and stuff. Yeah, I do want to talk about a lot of the stuff that's coming down on the new year. Now, I'll talk about 40K for a bit because I found out something that was a little bit annoying, but not annoying for me, but annoying for a lot of other people. Last week, while I was recovering from all the work I had to do, the physical labor that I had to do, because I was working at the warehouse and working at the metal finishing plant. So when I wasn't lifting 50-pound boxes, I was literally grinding bronze, excuse me, and steel and sanding by hand. It's crazy. I found some files from Luffy on the internet, and I was able to print up all of the named characters from the Necrons. And I'm like, oh, sweet. Here's the Silent King, here's Oricon, here is Trazen, here, all those guys. This is great. And this is really cool, really awesome. And I printed them, I painted them up. They are pretty much clones of the Games Workshop models. And here's the reason that I did it, okay? There is a great big debate about how 3D printing is theft from the companies that put stuff out. And considering I grew up with announcements saying, yeah, if you pirate a movie, it's just like beating an old lady with a crowbar. You know, I get it. People have to protect their IPs. But here is the overall thought from the 3D printing community. Okay? Ready? If companies do not want people with 3D printers 3D printing their stuff, then make the stuff available for purchase. Okay? I went to the Games Workshop website and to see if I could buy these figures. Now, number one, these figures are like 30 to 40 bucks a piece, and they're literally this big. Okay, this big. Do I have a mini laying around in my office? It's about that size. Okay, so this right here, this little thing should not be $45. Okay? But from that website, it tends to be. But you know what? It's their product. It's their thing. They can charge however they want. Okay? However, if it's always out of stock, not in any stores, and not orderable, then they don't have the right to say that you can't make your own. Okay? If you don't want people pirating your stuff, then make your stuff more accessible than pirating. Okay? Or offer more from the official thing than you can get from pirating. This is what DVDs did. I'm dead serious. This is, people were trading movies and downloading movies and stuff like that for the longest time. And if you guys might remember, around the time of the Lord of the Rings in the early 2000s, DVDs started coming with a plethora of special features, featurettes, behind the scene footage. There were pamphlets that went in. Like, the thing to buy became a collector's piece. It became an event. And that is how to keep people from pirating your stuff. Make the thing that's available better than they can get on their own. And you know, that's a really big thing. Yeah. Knights of G, it really did make it worthwhile to get the DVDs. I mean, I ain't gonna lie, Lord of the Rings took it a little too far. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I'm talking the regular edition with their little booklet, then the extended edition, then the master edition, then the super duper master edition with 3.5 hours of more footage that came with the bookends. I'm like, guys, roll back on it. Okay, a little bit. Um, but yeah. Um, you know, we got a comment over there from Mike. Do 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 do. So yeah, reason it's $45 is the quality, and GW is a high-end model company, not a game company. You know, they say that. They say that a lot. Um, but again, here's the thing. I'm not going to complain about their pricing because it's their stuff. They can charge however much they want for whatever reason that they want. I don't justify that kind of thing. I don't care. Okay. The point that I'm getting to is if they don't want people copying it, at least keep it in stock. Okay. It's that simple. Okay. It's really that simple. Okay. If I go to that website right now, matter of fact, let's do it. I really hope this doesn't get me hit by anything or, hit with a cease and desist or anything like that. But Games Workshop. Yeah, we're going to go there real quick. Okay. All right. And what country am I in? US. Bada boom. Necrons. Here we go. Here in the good old US of A, we have. Ooh, let me show you guys a little better what I'm looking at. There we go. Boop. Emotech the Stormlord, temporarily out of stock. Orican the Diviner, temporarily out of stock. Chronomancer, didn't make any of them. Nope. Okay. Vargard Orican, $23 online only. All right. Looks like that's back in stock. It wasn't when I made it. Overlord with Translocation Shroud, out of stock. Monolith, out of stock. Catan Shard of the Dragon, $125, out of stock. Obelisk, out of stock. Okay. Enric here the Traveler, out of stock. Nemesis, Zandrek, out of stock. Okay. So, what are we looking at? We're looking at all of those things out of stock. So, I made them. Are they out of stock in the UK? Doesn't matter. I don't know anybody in the UK that can ship them to me. I'm from LA. They know me, but they don't know me. You know what I mean? But I made all that stuff and I'm like, this is cool. This is awesome. Woohoo! And then I found out that they've been taken out of the standard game and put into legendary status. Now, I don't play tournaments. I don't play at GW stores, primarily because most of my stuff is 3D printed. But I was actually mad on behalf of the people that do play that stuff and do play in official things because they just released the codex 2 months ago. They've been on index cards for the past 7 months, and the index cards have the index cards for those, and they released them for free, which was awesome. And then they released them for sale, which is awesome. I actually bought the index card deck for the Thousand Suns when I chose that as my faction. Okay. But they released the codex for the Necrons. These are the official Necrons. This is what you can play in our store and at our events and at all that stuff. And then they took all the named characters and said, except these, right after the peak sales point of buying that book. And I thought that was kind of messed up. I really did. I really thought that was messed up. You know, I'm like, man, that's really messed up. That's not cool. You know, I mean, from what I hear, most people play with their friends. But from my days of War Machine, I remember when I played with my friends, we still played in tournament rules. Yeah, they changed a whole bunch in Star Wars X-Wing. Sadly, I didn't play Star Wars X-Wing. I played Star Trek Attack Wing. Because if I had to choose between Star Wars and Star Trek, I would pick Trek every time. Which is sad because, you know, X-Wing became the game. And when I said that at a game store, the guy behind the counter actually said, womp womp. So, yeah. But I'm still a big fan of just playing what I want to play. I don't really like playing with tournament rules because tournament rules and metas and things like that change so often. And regardless of the game, because Games Workshop is not solely guilty for this, but when they change the tournament rules, it tends to result in having to buy more. And that's a really big financial barrier for a lot of people that want to get into the things and play the games and stuff. So that's a big thing. That's a really big thing. So I was mad on their behalf. So let us check the email. Check in the email. And check the email and look for some questions. Have a question here on Discord from Glenn Couch. Do I think the Marshall versus Caster debate is a valid debate? Well, before I answer that question, I'm going to give a caveat. Which debate? If you're asking if I believe the which one is better debate is a valid debate, not really. Not really. I don't think that it's a very valid debate. Primarily, well, let me start over. All right, cool. Let's take some questions. Do I think the Marshall versus Caster debate is a valid debate? I'm not quite sure what the debate is, but if it's the same kind of debates that I've heard over the decades, the which one is better, I do not believe that it's a valid debate. The major reason is that all things aren't for everybody. Okay? A lot of people, and I did a show on this about a month ago, they play role-playing games, be them role-playing video games or tabletop role-playing games, for different reasons. All right? Folks that love doing damage up front, up close and personal, who have the desire, the fantasy, if you will, of being the big, strong, super damage dealing thing whose power is making evil stop being evil with their fist. They like the martial classes. I brought up the Lord of the Rings movies a little while ago. And when those movies came out, there were so many people that wanted to be archers like Legolas, or use a sword like Aragorn, or have the axe like Gimli. But there were also a lot of people that wanted to cast spells like Gandalf and Sauron. Excuse me. There were a lot of people that wanted to do a little bit of fighting and a lot of hiding like the hobbits, you know? So which one is better than the other? In truth, that all comes down to what game you're playing, and what style your GM likes to run. Okay. I find that when I run a lot of games, okay, most of the players that I end up with tend to be charisma based players. And I don't mean martial charisma based players like paladins or spellcast or damage spellcasting charisma players like combat bards. I'm talking straight up charisma players that want to talk their way out of every fight, sleep with every person in the bar. um, a lot of them like being stealthy and pickpocketing everything and stealing all the stuff. Okay, that's what a lot of people like doing. Okay, so the martial versus caster debate, I don't think it's a real valid debate, primarily because games like Dungeons and Dragons, being the spearhead for most role-playing games, are so well played out and can be so well played out that if you've got people that are learning what they're doing really well, or people that know what they're doing, every class has its place. All right. Let's see. For me, it would be less about how much power you have. It's more what is more likely to happen in a setting. Martial tends to be in higher supply than magic users. That's very true. And let me explain what I've observed as to why. You see, martial classes, from the inception of D&D all the way back in the 80s, okay? All the way back in the 70s. Your Stride Fighter with a 16 strength and 16 charisma. Nice. But yeah, all the way back from the 70s, when D&D was first incepted, martial classes are much easier on the front end. Okay? It's easy to say, I am Sir Jonathan, I have a sword, and the pointy end goes toward the enemy. At the end of the day, like, let's say you're playing 5th edition. Yes, there are extra combat actions, quick actions, power or action surges, all this other stuff. There's lots of that stuff. All right. But from levels 1 through 5, the main thing you got to worry about is if your sword is going to land. All right. Now let's juxtapose that between one of the more difficult casting classes, the cleric. The cleric, from level 1, has access to every spell in the book every day during gameplay. So every morning they can pick an entirely new array of spells. Now, what does that mean for a new player? That means for a new player, you've got guy with sword that makes pokey pokey versus praying person that's got to know the definitions. Hang on. I'm holding a 5th edition book in my hand right now. Okay? And yeah, what I'm doing here, versus a brand new spellcaster that's got to know or has got to sort through 50 pages of this every day. And if you're a new player, it comes down to, what's this spell do? What does that mean? What's this spell do? What does that mean? What's this spell do? What does that mean? That's a lot of bookkeeping and a lot of trying to understand what your casting can do. Okay? What I found, and if you guys have been a watcher of this show for a while now, y'all know I am a caster class fiend. Okay? I primarily play wizards in almost every game I run, and my favorite magic system is still Ars Magica, with a close second place being Mage the Ascension. Okay, that's the thinker I am. It's no wonder I chose Thousand Suns. I'm that guy. Okay. However, not just casting the spells, but finding creative uses for things like cantrips and spells, and how many spell slots you get, how many bonus spells you get, and do these bonus spells count towards your spell slots, and then why not? That's a lot. Okay. Let's see here. What is that? Mike, just the player's guide, then something in the extra? Oh, then add in the extra. Yeah. Just from the player's handbook, you've got 50 pages of which spells do what, which ones can you have, why can you have them, and let's not talk about feats. All right? So playing the stabby or the rogue classes, okay? It's I steal it, I pickpocket it, I pick the lock, I steal the thing, or I stabby, or I punch it in the mouth. All right? It's that simple. Okay? And it takes a long time to learn what spells are possible and your spell casting play style to settle in on the 3 or 4 spells you're going to be using over and over again, except with Warlock, because let's face it, Eldritch Blast is all over the place. So, yeah. So which one is better? Honestly, the game has always been made to where the golden part of the game is in between levels 10 and 14. Okay? But in beginning levels, yeah, stabby guy, he's probably going to live a lot longer. Okay? He's going to know what he can do. Where flick of the wrist casty guy is probably going to, get killed quickly or feel useless or not be able to hit that hard. It's really hard with the power fantasy. Okay? So in the beginning, it might seem like the martial classes are better, but they're all even. But it comes down to the to one of the biggest axioms in life, which is a lot of people say you can't have it all, and a lot of people say you can have it all. But the truth of the matter, and this is from an older man to the rest of you guys, you can have it all. You just can't have it all at once. Okay? You can go through it all. You can definitely go through it all in time. But as far as having all of it right here, right now, that takes away every single piece of challenge. Okay? What I will say is how can I put this? This is me dating myself, but like I said, I'm old. Back in the days where I played video games, there was a magic little thing. And that thing was called IDKFA. Also, up, down, left, right, BA, start. Okay? And what that did was take away the risk of failure in some of the most popular video games that were out there. And that being the case, it wasn't that I was playing Contra or Doom. I was just walking through bullying things, which had its place with its funness, but I never felt accomplished. I had an emotional catharsis, but I didn't have an emotional journey. Okay? Not the same journey that I had when I was playing Super Mario 3 and I didn't have any of the cheat codes, or the same emotional journey that I had when I was playing Mike Tyson's Punch-Out and I didn't have the cheat codes or the Game Genie. What I had were broken controllers from throwing them across the room because I was never that good at those kinds of video games. So, but yeah. So as far as the caster and martial debate, it just comes down to what are you playing for and what are you looking to get out of it? Okay? If you're looking to get a real quick power fantasy where you could be a total murder hobo. Guess what? They're about equal as long as you stay in the confines of the town and kill everybody in the tavern. Okay? Because you can stabby, you can Eldritch Blast, you can Chill Touch, you can smite, you can do all of those things to anybody lower than you. But will that make a fun game? Will those make fun experiences? More often than not, the answer is no. Okay? I got a chance to talk to a new GM. I think it was Friday. And this guy warms my heart. He really does, because he is so young and so cynical and everything sucks. And he wants to make everything gritty and real. And I'm like, that's funny, because you haven't had the life experience to actually watch someone die in front of you, have you? And wasn't me being condescending. That was a genuine question. And I had to explain to him, older writer to a younger writer, the point that he was going through for the game that he was planning was to take people on an emotional journey. However, the part of being a player is the chance to win, not the assuredness of winning. And I taught him the but and therefore rule that we've talked about here. Okay. And a lot of people like to have the power fantasy where they can never lose. And I brought up something, and man, you guys can come at me in the comments all you want, but I'm about to say something that I've seen proven. Okay. The reason that the most loved Superman movie is Superman 1979, starring Christopher Reeves, is so beloved is because Superman lost. And they were like, what? And I'm like, just follow me. That Lex Luthor presented Superman with a problem that he could not punch his way out of. Okay? He couldn't do it. I hear so many people when it comes to superheroes, power fantasies, that go straight for murder because it makes most of the sense. Why not just kill the bad guy? Why not shoot the Joker? Why not? And I'm from the school of heroes have the responsibility of saving everyone. And the best villains put superheroes in a point where killing them won't save the day. It just won't. And in the original Superman from Dick Donner, Lex launched 2 nuclear weapons in 2 opposite directions, and Superman had no idea that he could travel fast enough to go through time until after one of them blew up and killed Lois. Sorry to tell you, but this is spoilers for what? A 45-year-old movie at this point? So the idea that complications have to be everywhere. And I had this talk with the guy because the way that he runs games were all dungeon delve combat simulators, but he wanted to tell a story and didn't know how to run investigations. And I let him know that the key to every story is drama. And at the core of what drama is the square, inescapable, and I do mean this, inescapable possibility of failure. Okay? So every decision that is made must have some sort of complication in order to keep players compelled to keep going. This is the but and therefore theory. So if the players are like, well, we're going to go to the big bad evil guy and punch him in the face, there's got to be a plethora of things in the way before they do that. And I don't mean rind. Yeah, I know, right? It's a sled, all right? That's the whole thing. But what does the sled symbolize? You see, in a cinematic thing, no, we're not going to go there, Mike. Um, but yeah. Um, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna run you through a little thing. Okay, so your people get word that the key to the building is in a trunk. Okay, and that trunk is at Cheryl's house. Cool. So of course your players are gonna say, I'm gonna go to Cheryl's house and get the trunk. Of course they're going to. Now, is it a compelling game if they go to Cheryl's house, Cheryl is home, lets them in, gives them the trunk, and gets them the key? Well, that's the easy way. However, do they get chased down by the bad guys on their way to Cheryl's house? Is Cheryl alive when they get there? Is the door locked? Have they been framed for Cheryl's murder? You know? And I brought up the classic story of Call of Cthulhu. Okay. And in Call of Cthulhu, because that's the second most popular role playing game on the planet, in Call of Cthulhu, the investigation is so subtle that I missed it the first few times that I read it. But when I thought back to it, I'm like, dude, this guy found the idol, but in order to find the idol, he had to find the diary, decipher the code, read the code, find the key, use the key on a trunk. The trunk then led to a tablet. The tablet led to like a secret passage. And in the secret passage was another box. And then that box led to the idol that was draconian in feel with all of that stuff. And all of that stuff then led to finding the crew of the boat that was there before they could even go to where really was. And I'm like, okay, so it was clue after a clue that led to 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 a boat. Wow. That's what I'm talking about, and that is the classic example of the but and therefore, you know? And the kid's brain was just, why does nobody ever tell me this stuff? I'm like, because you didn't take creative writing in college. This was a really big thing, a really, really big thing where it's one thing to give your players all the information, and it's another thing, and you guys will see videos out there all day that says your players have to earn it, but they very rarely spell out what earning it consists of. And the but and therefore is a great, great, great thing. I've been talking about that on this show for years. A guy, your pocket was picked while you were in there. Well, I'm going to look for this guy. Okay, you chase the guy into an alley. But not only is he not there, but the rest of the Thieves Guild is there, and they're trying to stop you. You see what I mean? For every decision that's made, there's got to be a complication keeping it from being a snooze. And that is such a big deal. That's a really, really big deal in your storytelling. So, now that we've got all that, thank you so much, Glenn, for the question about the caster and Marshall debate and that whole power and most likely to happen in the setting, because that's a real thing that a lot of people got to deal with. Now, before we get out of here, I do want to let you guys know, hang on, I believe it's printable. No. There was. Oh, yeah. TeePublic. That's right. Because we do have merch. We got t-shirts and stuff like that. And of course, we're having a sale. Okay? No, I just want to go to my store. Yep, we're having a 30% off sale. Okay. No, just get me to my store. See, this is how I know that stuff is weird. Oh, there we are. View my storefront. yeah, come on down to tpublic.com slash, well, let me just put this here. And grab some merchandise. Now, I could easily say, grab a t-shirt or a hoodie. You know, it's cold out there. Hoodies are cool. You know, love the t-shirts, and right now they're on sale for $22. But you know what? I think that a lot more folks will be happy with a coffee mug. All right? But we got lots of stuff out there at the T Public shop. Oh, I should probably not be doing this. But hey, it's there. It's already there. Whoop. There we go. Yeah. And we got loads and loads of stuff out there. Got tote bags for when you go to the grocery store. I love stickers, especially because they're relatively cheap. So grab yourself some stickers. Put the stickers. Hey, what's going on? It's a lot of swag. It's been there for a while. But yeah, grab yourself some stickers, you know, put Little Saul on your computer. And by the way, what's going on, Vine Constrict? It's good to see you. And yeah, just support the channel. Also, like and subscribe. Subscribe here on Twitch with your Amazon Prime account, because that way it's free. Okay. Unless you got the $5. But if you got the $5, head on over to patreon.com/BID_P. All of these things help us stay open. And of course, subscribe to the YouTube channel. All right. The YouTube channel is literally BidP Blurred. Just look up BidP Blurred on YouTube and, you know, subscribe, like the videos, leave a comment. Help us get to that 1,500 subscription thing so that we can start monetizing and I can put out more and better content for you guys. All right. Because that's what I want to do. Post a schedule on YouTube. What happens on what day? That is on the docket. Okay. I promise you that is on the docket, Mike. For now, it is going to be, the live casts are going to be Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 3. I'm working up the schedules and doing some editings to make sure that I can get all that stuff up there. But I'm juggling a lot. And I still don't know how to use YouTube in all of those ways. I try and look at videos and then YouTube changes the algorithm or the format that's out there and then pushes the goalpost back. It's all weird. And I'm an older man, which means I didn't grow up with all of this stuff, so I'm doing the best I can. But join us tomorrow, okay? Join us tomorrow, as we're gonna do a painting video. I'm not sure what we're painting yet. I got some knights laying around, and I'm gonna take a look and see if I can get some of the wackiness that I use for my paint jobs going. Okay. But join us tomorrow at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, right here on Twitch or right there on YouTube where you guys are watching. Major shouts out to Daryl and Glenn and Mike and you guys for being there and seriously keeping the chat going and all that stuff. Like I said, man, we are all about the positivity and stuff. Head on over to TeePublic and grab some stickers, you know, put some stickers on your laptop or on your guitar case or all that stuff. And thank you guys for joining me. Subscribe to us on Spotify as well. If you guys want to listen to this stuff while you drive, that's some fun stuff because I do upload the stuff on Spotify as often as I can remember. Like I said, there's a lot of moving parts that goes with this. But thank you guys for being here. Now, if y'all got any other questions, okay, any other questions or anything like that, well, it's simple. All you got to do is send me an email, okay? And where's the email? Just pull up your email and type in backinthedeck@gmail.com. That's BACKINTHEDECK @gmail.com. You can reach out to the Back in the Deck on Twitter, you know, now called X, but it's like my ex, so, you know, all that kind of thing. You can also reach out on Instagram at Back in the Deck, on TikTok at BidP, and of course on Deckers on the Book. We actually had like a robot post on Deckers on the Book, and it was like, hey, look at my butt. And I had to get in there and fix all that with all that jazz. But thank you guys for being here. All right, seriously, grab some stickers, grab a coffee mug, subscribe, help us stay open, help me make enough so that I can start hiring editors and put out more content at a higher quality, and help me manage the social media and all that jazz. So with that, I got to say thank you guys for being here. And if anybody tells you that you can't like what you like because of the circumstances of your birth, be it race, religion, creed, gender identity, sexual orientation, disability, neurodivergency, or spice, your budget or your upbringing, because if you've ever been to a trailer park, I promise you're walking distance from the hood. You can just look at any of them and tell them to take any of those cards they're trying to pull on you to gatekeep and put those cards back in the deck. I'm Solar Gray, the Cinematic Sorcerer, saying thank you guys for being here, and we will see you next time on the dark side of the room. We'll see you tomorrow.